Live. It is ACX Thursday. Welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. We've got the pencil, we've got the coffee for no other reason than just to have them here. I take an occasional sip of coffee during this. However, it's important to be consistent. Anywho, it's good to have you here. It's good to be live on Thursday, February, 27th? It's unbelievable. We are almost done with the first quarter, right? I mean, we're coming up on March. And I mean, we've already gone 2 months into today, 2 months into this year of 2020. It's crazy how fast it's going by, and I'm just thrilled to be doing this. So, anyways, I'm excited about today's topic about build your empire. So this is ACX Thursday. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Take a quick opportunity to subscribe, like, share, retweet. If you're on Twitter, I want to welcome people from Instagram. I'm going to wave to some people. What's up, people on Instagram? We got Brian. We got Brian everywhere. Brian's on Instagram. Brian's on YouTube. We got Brian everywhere. We got Tiffany. We got Omar, what's up, you guys? Great to have you on Instagram. We got Marcus on YouTube. If you're joining from YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, it's great to have you here. Welcome. If you are new to ACX Thursday, basically how this goes is I give a little spiel about some things that I'm working on or thinking about or doing for ACX, and then this is a great opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have about ACX or audiobooks, getting yourself as a voice actor into audiobooks, anything like that we're basing around ACX. This is the time to do it for the next 30 minutes or so. All right, so today, if you checked out the title is called Build Your Empire. And I'm really excited to talk to you about this catchy title, right? But the reason I put that there is because recently, well, it's not necessarily recently, but there's a big trend going on right now because of the sheer amount of demand for books and audiobooks, right? I mean, it is the largest growing industry in voiceover, right? Which is the audiobook industry. People cannot get enough of them. There is always so many more, and on top of that, there's always so many more audiobooks than there are voice actors to complete them. And there's also a lack of quality ones as well, because, in the rush to get lots of stuff out there, we have a lot of people popping up who are, as if you've been doing any, that it can be challenging sometimes to find some good ones that are written appropriately. So a big trend is coming up that's been definitely gaining ground, and that is to take books that are in the public domain, which means that a book has been created or published before a certain date. Now, every country is different, but in the U.S., in the early 1920s, okay, and this actually revolves around Walt Disney. In the early 20s, there was a dispute over Mickey Mouse, and Walt Disney fought to keep Mickey Mouse copyrighted under his name, and not someone else was trying to basically take it from him. And so what happened is that Congress and everything ended up throughout this whole process passing a law about copyright in our country. So anything after, you could pretty much, I think it's 1922, and if I'm wrong a year or two, I apologize. But any time after that date, copyright laws go into effect. And, basically any book that was written before that time, okay, the copyright laws do not apply, and they are considered in public domain. Or if an author decides to write a book and then put it in the public domain, meaning that they don't, they just give it to the world, for anybody to do anything. Now, what that means is that anybody can take that work, okay? And then they can use that work however they see fit without having to pay rights or having to pay any money, without having to get permission to do things with it. So what a lot of people are doing, what a lot of businesses or startups or, people are, who have some entrepreneurial spirit, they're taking these books and they're redoing them. Either they're adding some sort of maybe some cool illustrations, or they're adding some editorial content to them, and then they're republishing these books. So you don't say that you wrote it. You say that the author wrote it, but you hold the rights to the version that you've created from their book. I mean, if you think about A Christmas Carol, right, by Charles Dickens, that book has been redone so many times, and it's also probably one of the most famous plays, and besides the fact that it's probably pretty much responsible for the way we celebrate Christmas and everything today. But anyways, regardless, books like that, you can take them and you can republish them as your version of Charles Dickens' story. Right? Well, how does this apply to us? Well, what happens is, and I don't know, you've probably been on the receiving end of this as a voice actor. I know I have done for many companies. Companies will get these books, do whatever they want to them. And it doesn't even, they could change the type font. You don't even not necessarily have to even do that. Now, there are laws in each country, and I recommend that you take a look at them, but it's pretty much free game with something in public domain. But basically, they republish the book under their version. They put a new like a new picture, new illustration of the title of the cover, and maybe some different type font, and they republish that book on Amazon as their version of the classic Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I'm just using that as an example, right? So then they come to us as a voice actors and they say, listen, we want you to narrate this book. Okay, that's in the public domain that we've published, and we want to create an audiobook and sell it as a part of that package, or not necessarily a package, just part of an audiobook that goes with what they've published. So we do that, and then they hold the rights to that version of our recording. Now, I'm sure that you have seen this. You've maybe been a part of it. You've done it. I know I've done a bunch of them. I've done a lot of financial books from the turn of the century, from around 1890s to the early 1920, so forth. I've done a lot of long financial books where people decided not to write in short sentences, but they used to write in really long paragraph-sized sentences. Anyways, where I'm going with this is that and this is something that I've always dreamed about doing, actually, but it will take time. But here's the thing. When we are paid to narrate one of those books, right, the person who pays us, they get the right to that and they hold it. But here's the deal. Why do we need them? We don't. You and I have the right to do the same thing that they're doing. And by doing so, we could then own the rights to our own version of the published version, and then the version that we narrate. Because as a voice actor, right, on ACX, when you narrate something, especially if you do a royalty share, right? Which, by the way, if you do royalty shares, I got my payment notification today. It's towards the end of the month. This is when we start getting paid for our royalties. Anywho, if you are ambitious, you can do it all yourself. You can build an entire empire of books from the public domain, versions of your version. Now, listen, I know that you're going to have to do something, maybe you take the book and you read through it and you add some editorial content about how this applies to today, or how it would look, in our society today if this book was written. I mean, you do whatever you want. You could pay somebody on Fiverr to do illustrations for the book, right? And then you publish that book. You publish an ebook online through Amazon, through Kindle publishing. Then you go on to ACX, and then you are now an author. You find that book, you narrate it, you put it up there. You own the rights if you give Amazon complete, you check, I don't know if you know this, but authors have an opportunity when they have a book and they have us narrate it, they can choose to have Amazon either take full rights to it, meaning like they have exclusive rights to sell it. So that means once you sell it, the author and we get 40% of the sales. Amazon takes 60%, we take 40%. But they also have the right to do non-exclusive, which then means that you can sell it on Amazon, but then you can sell it anywhere else as well. Now you only get 25% of the profit from those books, or the sale of those books, but you get that anyways. So the point I'm trying to make here is that you and I can take that and we can do it ourselves. We don't need to have other people do that. Right? We don't need to have a secondary company come in and pay us money, and then we get, they get to keep all the rights and royalties, because the problem that we always have, right, is that we're not writers. We don't write books, but these books are already written. They're already in public domain. So you can take them and do whatever you want with them, just like these people are doing. They're taking these books, doing whatever they want with them, and then paying us to narrate them. Oftentimes, and I've been hearing this more and more too, we're doing a lot of ghost narrating where people are paying us and then they're paying us to say their name as the narrator. So we don't even have our name in there, right? Now, it's okay because people are paid to be ghostwriters. I did not know this, but did you know, on a side note, because I love this series. I don't know if you've ever read the Hardy Boys series. And I'm a big Hardy Boys fan, and that series of books, those were all like ghost written. I blew my mind that those books, like those were all ghostwriters who wrote those. It wasn't the same person. I mean, if you look at it, there's so many of them, right? I could see that, but still, that blows my mind. But that happens quite often, especially with celebrities too. They hire ghostwriters. But the point is that we don't have to be beholden to these other people who are doing these. We can take these books and do them ourselves. And it would be a great way to build your own empire. And you could literally focus all of your efforts on just doing that. Now, you might say there's still the one part of this that we didn't talk about, and that is you've got to be able to still sell these books. So, I mean, the whole point is that you sell them, but you're dealing with books that are, really popular throughout history, right? So, I mean, the sale of them is probably not going to be that hard. But I don't know, I'm not selling, A Christmas Carol right now, so I couldn't tell you how hard it is to sell that book. I'm just saying that it's interesting to me because when you see something happening, like more and more people or more and more businesses are popping up, more and more trend, you see a trend happening, it's happening for a reason, right? Because people are seeing opportunities, there's something spotted, you've got to take a look at it. But all I know is that if you stop and step back and you say, okay, well, why do I actually have to, be subject to pay, someone else just paying me and taking all the rights when I could technically do it myself? And you could build a huge library and create an entire business around your brand of taking public domain books and narrating them. And, you could build an entire business, an audiobook and narrating voiceover audiobook business around that if you wanted to. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's not a lot of work and a lot of time, but that's business. That's our lives and business in general. So anyways, I just wanted to give you that idea and that thought. It's something to think about because I know for me, again, people try to pay me, and I've done it where I've been paid to narrate public books in the public domain, and they've republished them as their version of that book. And then they have full rights now of books that they didn't even, all they did was take a book, pay a few people to do a few little things, and now they're just earning income. I mean, it's pretty crazy how that works if you think about it, if you stop and think about it. And then with sites like Fiverr, you can pay for services that you need in order to make this stuff happen. It's not actually that hard. The hardest part is just, getting on the Kindle platform through Amazon and learning how to submit a book or, getting on the back end. If you've never done that on ACX, I've been paid by authors to go in and actually set up their accounts. So I know how to set up the authors' accounts and everything. It's not hard once you go through the process once or twice. right? All right, so anyways, that's my spiel today. It's an exciting prospect to me, especially if you find things like, things that haven't been done before either, but are available. Like there's many different archives and different things that have been written and done that have never been published but are free for anyone to use. I mean, these are exciting things. I mean, and the whole idea here is that because of, what we do, we know that doing audiobooks is also something that we can earn money on, and we are all set up for that. So it's just an interesting idea, an interesting thought. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas on it as well, but why don't you take this opportunity to go ahead and post any questions or comments you have for ACX or anything like that, and tell me if that's something that you've ever thought about doing or ever heard of before. All right, let me pop over here and say what's going on Insta. We've got a whole bunch of people. Tiffany. We got Jones. What's up, man? We've got House Broker 1. Tiffany says, hey, Anthony, happy ACX Thursday. Hello, hello. Let's see. We've got Marcus over on YouTube. What's up, Marcus? Scott, what's up? Nick, what's up? Brian, hello. Louis. I did it again, Luis. Sorry. Hey, we got No Way Jose. I like that name. Hola. We've got Laura Lee on Facebook. Hello. We've got Angela. Hello, Angela. Angela has an awesome new course, an Upwork course that is available. If you want to grow your business and, start making some moolah on Upwork, you've got to check out that course. It's available now on a VO's journey. You can check it out on the website. It's right there front and center when you you don't have to log on. You just go to the website, vosjourney.com, and you can check out that course. It's amazing. Let's see. Dela, I'm going to say, is it Dela or Della? Della, maybe? From the UK. What's up? We got Nick. Okay, got 2 new AB productions this week, both at Z proper rates. It can be done. Okay. Z proper rates. I'm assuming you mean like, standard industry rates. It's probably what I know that you're probably, I'm sure that's what you mean, but that's awesome. Absolutely, it can be done. Absolutely. Eric from Twitter, Periscope, where can I find a site to learn more about editing audio on either Reaper or Audacity? That's a good question, Eric. Honestly, YouTube is the absolute best place to do it. I use Adobe Audition, so I don't actually use Reaper or Audacity, but man, I have been asked so many times to do something on Reaper and Audacity. And you know what I might do? I might actually see if I can maybe get some courses on a VO's journey about that, so people can. I have a course, a very inexpensive course on Adobe Audition, but I don't have anything on Reaper and Audacity just because I don't use it. But a lot of people do. So I will look at diving into that for you, absolutely. But in the meantime, you can find everything you need to know on YouTube. You just got to search for it. All right, let's see. We've got over at the Steve Corona. Oh, no, not the Corona. That's really interesting. I never thought about taking books in public domain and making it my own. Yeah, blows your mind, right? And I never thought about it either until all these people are paying me to do these books that are in public domain. It's nuts. Okay, let's see. The Steve says, you're right, though, as VOs were so used to be just being hired for gigs. Why not own the rights? Absolutely. Like, I'm really big about owning the rights to things. You know what I mean? It really makes a lot of sense if you think about it. It makes a lot of sense to own the rights to the work we do because it comes in every single month. Just like I was telling you about, we get our royalty payments today, or they're beginning the process, right? The what are they called? The remittance or whatever it is you get from, whatever they send you. But anyways, you get paid every month for your royalties that of the books you were sold. And imagine if you, and as royalty share, we only get 20% after everything's said and done, right? And then you split the 20% with the author. However, as a voiceover actor, we only get 7 years of those royalties, and then they go to the author. So that means, I mean, 7 years is great, don't get me wrong, but you then lose it. You only get it for 7 years. If you owned all of it, you have it forever, right? It is something that you could take and pass on to your children, and et cetera, right? So, I mean, just something to think about building that up, right? I mean, it's kind of exciting. At the same time, I will say that it takes work. And if you are busy doing other things, like I'm very busy with other stuff too, I think, okay, well, how do I do that? At the same time, there is people that you can pay to do things, and we have to realize we are being paid to do services too. So don't be afraid to start looking for other people that you pay to do things as well, right? Because if you're working, here's a perfect example. If you work on Fiverr, which most of us do here, hope that are watching this, we are professionals. We are getting paid, and I know you do and I do. We put out a darn good product. So that means that there's going to be other people on Fiverr that put out a darn good product. Are there people who put out poor products? Sure, that's everywhere. But if you do your due diligence, you could pay people to do the things that you need as well. Okay? Don't die on that island by yourself. So I really like this idea, and now it's just figuring out how to manage the time around it, because it is time intensive, in my opinion. I think there's a learning curve just like anything else, right? You got to learn all this stuff. Okay, so let's see. Zach says, late but here. Good to have you, Zach. Luis says, can you touch briefly on mic techniques for audiobooks? Distance from the mic, angle, etc. Is it different from, say, technique on commercial work? Great question, Luis. So listen, the thing about audiobook work is that you are doing multiple things, right? Especially in fiction. So in fiction, you are going to be doing different characters. You're going to be doing different, like interior monologue, right? You're going to be talking out loud to people. You're going to be in the first person, the third person. You're going to be using all these different techniques, all these different methods of telling a story. So with all of those different methods, you should think too of your microphone placement has something to do with that as well, right? So now what I always do, and I've talked about this before, and I learned this from Tim Tippett's, but it's out there and it's available, right? Is that if you, first off, I like to angle my microphone, okay? I like to take my hand like this, all right? And I like to have it at a 45-degree angle, and then face forward like I'm looking at my copy and my microphone is at a 45-degree angle. That way, pops are really limited, and they're really taken away a lot by repositioning your mouth moving forward instead of you facing the mic directly on it. If you notice, if you saw my video, I just published a video earlier today. I actually finally went through the process of me going from my editing station into my booth, recording a voiceover, coming back out, editing it, and I show you I finally did that. I've been asked to do that multiple times. But anyways, point of reason why I bring that video up, I published that earlier today on YouTube, is that you could see I don't have pop filters anywhere. I don't have a pop filter on this. I don't have a pop filter on my Sennheiser in my booth. And the reason is because of the angle that I talk at. I talk at a 45-degree angle. And because of the proximity of the microphone, I don't lose any power or volume, okay? So that's one thing. Another thing is, think about intimacy. Think about the message that you talk about, like when you're saying. So when you are doing like an interior monologue, you're going to want to get closer to the mic. You're going to want to maybe quiet down some. Right? You're going to want to give that impression that it's quiet in our ears. Okay? And is another thing too, and I love this idea, and I would love to see, I don't have it here, but I would love to see someone do this. Just to remember that when you're doing this, right, people are listening to it. Most of the time people have earphones in. We're talking about audiobooks, right? Now, yes, we listen to audiobooks on the like in the car and stuff, but a lot of people listen to them earphones in. So you have to imagine you are literally talking into someone's ear. So because you are doing that, I think this is funny. And I would love for somebody make a big ear and put it right here on your microphone so that you're like talking into someone's ear. And what you will find is you will start to think, okay, well, I need to maybe reduce my volume a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't need to shout and get loud unless it calls for it. At which case, by the way, on a side note, whenever you have to shout and be loud, you definitely want to move away from the mic so that when you're shouting and you're loud, it's not going to, clip and go all crazy, right? So when you have to get loud, you get further away. But when you are narrating and stuff, it's okay to be close. It used to be when I first started, it was this 6 inches thing. Like you needed to be this far away from the mic. Now I'm more like, I like to do like 3 inches away from the mic when I narrate. And a lot of times I like to get closer, especially when I'm in my booth. Now, when I'm in my booth and I'm narrating, I am probably, I guess that's not true. I'm probably 4 to 6 inches away from my mic unless I am doing something like an interior monologue, which I get closer to the mic. Okay. If I do a character voice, I'm definitely going to back away because a lot of times they're louder. If it's more intimate, I'm going to get closer, right? Think about the intimacy. I like that idea. The more intimate something is, and remember, when I'm thinking about intimacy here, I'm not talking about just intimacy as like physical intimacy. I'm talking about something that is, more either serious, more like an interior monologue, like I said, something that means more, something with more meaning, okay? You can get closer to your mic, and it really gives that warm feeling, and it gives that feeling like you're inside someone's head, because we really are when we're listening to something. So think about your mic technique in that way, where depending on how you're speaking and what device you're using to tell your story, on whether how close or how far away you are from your mic. That was like a long answer. Hopefully some of that helped. Okay, let's see. Score says Booth Junkie does videos on Reaper. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, Booth Junkie does. Marcus says, when submitting auditions, how might one fluff the message box so it isn't just, hi, pick me because I sound good? So what Marcus is talking about is when you submit an audition, there's also a message box that you send, that you can send a message. I've done all kinds of different methods here. I've sent short messages. I've sent long messages. I've gone to people's websites. I've tracked down the author, on the internet and read some of their stuff and left a personal message. I think first and foremost, the more personal you can be about something, the better. At the same time, this is a numbers game, so you have to take in consideration of the amount of time it's going to take you to do all of that. My honest suggestion is that you build a template, okay, that does say, hello, my name is such and such. Thank you for the opportunity to audition for your book. Okay, I've included, the 2 minutes, or I've included 2.5 minutes of audition of this character from this page, whatever, and I look forward to hearing from you soon, or thank you again, Anthony. That's short and simple. You got to remember one thing though. Don't put pick me because I'm good, but that would be funny though. But don't put that. But you got to remember something though. A lot of these authors are getting 40, 50, 60, 100 auditions. So if you put some long message down there, the likelihood is they're gonna scan over it anyways, right? So you want to put something short and sweet that's going to get across to them. But if you are feeling up to it, try it out. Go put a personal message down. Look at, you could go to Amazon and check what the author's done and look and say, hey, I checked out your book. I read the synopsis of a few of them. They look really cool. It would be like an honor to work with you because I really like what you've done and what you've written. I mean, you could put that down and talk about the books that they have. You could do all of that. Absolutely. I'm just not sure how many authors, are going to be spending that much time reading them. But like I say, test it out. If you have a theory, go for it. Test it out. The worst thing that can happen is nothing changes, right? And try something else. So, yeah, I'd say go for it. Let's see. Donna says, hey, Anthony, this is my favorite day. Oh, good. Voiceover Angela. New swag idea AP, a mic ear pop filter. That would be really fun. Oh, my gosh. Somebody has to create that. We got to create that. An ear pop filter. I like that idea. All right. Graphics Gramp says thoughts on upgrading from the AT 2020 to the AT 2035. Strongly considering it. That's awesome. Listen, I would say whenever someone or when you graphics grams or anybody's looking to upgrade your mic, ask a couple things. One, why are you looking to upgrade it? Do you know what I mean? Like, really, why? Like, are you looking to upgrade it because you're like a gear, a gear hoarder, you love gear? Or are you looking to upgrade it because you've identified or somebody's identified there's an issue with the current microphone you have where you don't feel like you're getting the best sound out of it? You know what I mean? Is there a problem with it? Like, is it broken? Identify what the reason is you want to get a new mic. And then from there, like, if the reason is you feel like you are not getting the best sound out of the mic, and you think that it's costing you business and you want to upgrade your mic, which, by the way, I'm all for upgrading equipment. I think it's super important to upgrade your equipment. Reinvest the money that you make in your business to upgrade your equipment. I think that's important. But I do think it's important, too, to realize, again, that you are running a business, and there's a fine line between running a business and a hobby, all right? And the line is whether you make money or you lose money. So try not to buy a microphone. And it's so funny because people are going to be like, what are you saying? But I'm serious. Try not to buy a microphone or any equipment unless you specifically know why you are buying that piece of equipment. Like, you've identified why. And here's the thing. It might be challenging too because, when we're doing something, we don't know what we don't know. You might not know. Like, for example, when I first started, I didn't have studio monitors. I just used headphones. And they weren't monitor headphones, right? So I had no idea the difference in the sound and what I was producing as opposed to what was coming out. And at some point, and listen, just because I didn't know what I was doing, I was using the the speakers off my computer, right, to mix with. I think about that now and I think, gosh, how silly I was, but I didn't know. So if you think about listening to your stuff now out of your computer, we wouldn't be able to tell how well it was mixed or not because our computer puts it through its own mixing, right? It has its own highs and lows it adds in, and so does speakers and so forth. That's why getting monitors that you can add like a 0-0 balance, meaning like you don't have a plus or negative on a high or low end or anything. It's just straight, straight at zero, is so important. I didn't know that. And when I bought them, it changed my world. And then I realized, wait a minute, I really do need a different microphone. I really do need to upgrade my interface because I'm getting these noises that I didn't understand why I was getting them. I understood all that as I did get equipment. But I'm just saying, make a good idea about why you are getting it. And then once you figure that out, then you can go into getting it. I'll be straight with you. I don't know anything about the AT 2035. So I do know the AT 2020 is a good mic. I've heard great things about it. I don't personally own it, but I've heard very good things about that mic. So, and I do like Audio-Technica. So anyways, I would just, that's my spiel. You have actually said some more things here. Sorry, mostly because I'm tired of the USB version. Okay. And figure since I'm buying a new mic, I might as well go up a model. Okay. That sounds pretty. If I don't know why you said you're tired of it. I don't know what what are you tired of it? Like, are you tired of it because you just want something new? Or are you tired of it because it's causing you lots of problems? That's all I would mention to you. Okay. Because I know a lot of famous narrators, and since we're talking about ACX, audiobook narrators who've used the same cheap mic for a long time, and nobody wants them to change because they're used to the way they sound on that microphone. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on what your situation is and what you're trying to accomplish as well. Let's see. Score More says you should only upgrade gear when you actually make money from your previous gear, not your actually money if you're working. All right, that's not a bad idea. If and I would piggyback off of what Score said there is that, this should be a part of your business plan. I know we don't want to go into the business plan idea, but again, this is a business and it should be a part of it. I know it's not an easy answer. It could have been easy for me to be like, yeah, man, just go do it, upgrade when you can. But I want to make sure that I don't recommend you upgrade, for no reason at all. And make sure you have like a plan in place. Like, how much money a year do you set aside to upgrade gear? You know what I mean? And if you do have a business plan, because I've met a lot of people who will not do anything with their business unless they earn it from their business. Kind of thing as says Score More just said. You know what I mean? And that's perfectly fine. If that's part of your business plan, great. But if you also have a business plan where you need to invest money that you have not made in your business yet, that's fine too. It's up to you, but you need to have it a part of your business plan so you're not just spending money willy-nilly, or when it comes to the end of the month, you're going to realize, you spent a lot more money than you made. And our goal is to make more money than we spend. I bought it years ago before I knew what I was doing. The USB seemed easier, which it was, but since then I've learned more about the advantages of XLR. Sure, do I believe that you should be upgrading to a condenser microphone or an XLR? Absolutely. I completely do. Do you know what I mean? So I believe if you are a place in your business where you are making some money, you feel like it is time to upgrade, to up your game, absolutely. E pluribus bigly. Sorry if this question has been answered. With regard to public domain books, do you have to publish the ebook before you release an audiobook? Is the animation editorial work necessary? Thanks. Okay, great questions. You need to have an ebook published on Amazon in order to publish the audiobook. I think you could probably do an audiobook on your own and sell it off of your website from the public domain. You know where people do it all the time? On YouTube. People do public domain books and they narrate them on YouTube. That's why you can go on and find books, that are narrated. So you don't have to. But if you want to do it on Amazon, Amazon requires you to publish an ebook. However, do you have to do the something different to it? No. But here's the challenge. The challenge is most of the versions that you find online, all right, they are going to be someone else's version. So it's like you have to figure out, the original. I mean, honestly, is people going to come after you? Probably not. But so the quick answer is no. You don't really technically have to do anything to it. All right. But it's recommended. And I strongly suggest, just for purposes of changing the type font, doing something to the book that makes it, your version of that author's writings. Does that make sense? I wouldn't just blankly publish, a book without doing something to it. It doesn't have to be massive. That's up to you. But that's my suggestion. And as always, I'm not a lawyer. So, if you really want to publish something without doing something to it, talk to someone legally or go look at that. But I would just be safe and do something to it. All right, you guys, thank you so much. This was a really good Thursday. I'm very happy. Great questions. Thank you. As always, please take a moment to subscribe. We hit 900. Well, we are over 900 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. We are getting closer and closer every single day to 1,000. I don't know, when we get to 1,000, we're almost there. We got to get to, 1,500 is the next mark, 2,000. But I'm so excited. Thank you all so much for all of your support. We're at 900. So excited. And we're getting up there in the group. We're almost at 700 people in our Facebook group of VO's Journey, which I love, one of the most active groups out there. So thank you all again for all that you all do. Take a moment again to like, share, retweet. Check out that Upwork course as well if you're interested, because tomorrow, the Fiverr course, tomorrow is Fiverr Friday, which is our most popular day of the week. I'm excited about that. Fiverr has made some changes again to their platform, so I'm thrilled. I came on to, in my private group, the VO's Journey private group, Facebook group, and did a live yesterday about the changes that Fiverr has done recently, just within the last day, for the voiceover community. So I'll be excited to talk about that tomorrow. So don't miss it. Come with your questions, all right? And I will talk to you all then. Give you the salute, have the cup of coffee. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. See you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.